Today, I finally give you the tour of my G1 Transformers collection. Welcome back. Now, I've been promising for quite some time that I would do a video tour of my G1 Transformers collection, so today's the day. Now, much like my recent video tour of my Batman collection, I foolishly thought I could fit everything on the table and do all in one shot. Well, that's not the case. I have Wave 1 here at the moment. We'll look at the other figures in due course. But to get the tour started, let's take a look at my G1 Decepticons. So before we look at each item more closely, I just want to explain that when putting this collection together, my main concern was that I wanted the items to be either brand new or as mint as possible, as I just do not like displaying tatty items in my collection. So as a result of that, I would estimate that 90% of what you see here are modern reissues of the old G1s. There are one or two knockoffs, and there's a handful of genuine vintage pieces. So starting with Megatron, which was a Tomy Takara reissue, I believe this is the most expensive piece in the entire collection. It was brand new and sealed, and as we all know, as a toy, it doesn't look that impressive. However, you need to have Megatron, so even though it's the most expensive, it's probably one of my least favorites, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. And next to Megatron, you will see Soundwave, which was a Walmart reissue. Now, in his tape deck, there is an extra Frenzy, simply because I hate seeing the tape decks empty when these are in Decepticon mode. Probably my favorite Transformer ever. It's just such a wonderful design and such a cool concept. Now for the Seekers, we have Starscream, which was the Walmart exclusive reissue. Now this one was very kindly sent to me by Damien, who you may remember used to post here on YouTube as Kickback 1985. Now as this tour progresses, you will hear me thanking Damien a number of times because he has been incredibly generous in sending me a number of items for my collection. So if you are watching this, Damien, thank you so much, sir. Now next to Starscream, we have Skywarp and Thundercracker. These are commemorative series Transformers, which I believe were exclusive to Toys R Us back in the day. Now down in the front there, we have the collection of the mini Decepticons, of which there were, well, 5. Sadly, with a lot of toy lines and cartoon lines back in the day, there were way more good guys than bad guys. So you can see how outnumbered the Decepticons were, but it did make for completing a Decepticon collection a lot easier. So anyway, these are all recent Walmart exclusives, so like Rumble, Ravage, Laserbeak, Frenzy, and Buzzsaw. Of course, Buzzsaw did come with Soundwave. These are all Walmart exclusives, which were reasonably inexpensive. Again, everything you see for this Decepticon collection, all brand new and all reissues. But you know what? I love them. So those are my Decepticons from Wave 1. As we now move into the Autobots, what you're looking at here is a genuine 1984 G1 Optimus Prime. This one in my collection is very special. The reason being, this belonged to a good friend, Scott Hughes, from his childhood, that he maintained in such pristine condition. And earlier this year, he was raising money for a new business venture and inquired if I would be interested in purchasing his childhood Optimus Prime. As you'll see shortly, the Optimus Prime I have in my collection was a Walmart exclusive that did not come with the trailer. So to get the chance to finally own a complete Optimus Prime with trailer, with roller, all the accessories, I could not resist that. And to help out Scott as well was just a win-win for everyone concerned. And having this in my collection puts a huge smile on my face. And as I just mentioned, the Optimus Prime I did have in my collection, well, I still do, but this was my, I guess, placeholder, if you will, was the Walmart reissue. It looks fantastic, but it did not come with the trailer, so it was always lacking somewhat. However, the fact that I have the genuine G1 with the trailer and this one means I can display both simultaneously, and that makes me very happy. So Ratchet and Ironhide are from the Takara Tomy Encore series, and these were very kindly sent to me by Damien. So again, thank you, Damien, for that. The one thing I would like to try and find is the aftermarket heads for these, because let's be honest, these look absolutely ridiculous the way they are. I have seen a few examples of the aftermarket head and it makes a world of difference, but as it is, these are what were released back in the day, so therefore if you want a complete collection you need to own these. And despite them looking a bit goofy, I am extremely happy to have them, and they are quite fun to transform. So next up we have Hound, Trailbreaker, Wheeljack, Sunstreaker and Mirage. Now this might be somewhat controversial, but these are all in fact Chinese knockoffs. Not that you could tell from looking at them. I got to be honest, these are just fantastic, very affordable, and again for my collection, brand new. So these fit the bill exactly, and I have no qualms whatsoever about the fact that these are fake or knockoff, reproduction, whatever you want to call it. Makes no difference to me. They look fantastic on display and I am extremely happy to have them. So down on the front here we have Prowl and Blue Streak, which are from the commemorative series. Obviously again these are identical, but side by side they do look fantastic, and the commemorative series was of great use to me when doing this collection because I did use it quite extensively, and as I've said earlier, I had to have brand new or as minty as possible, and it was the most affordable way to achieve that. Now next up we have Jazz, and again big thank you to Damien for sending this one in. This was a Takara Tomy Encore series, which again brand new and just perfect for my requirements. And last of all, again with thanks to Damien, is an e-hobby reissue Sideswipe, and I just love these Lambos. I think when you think about classic 80s cars, Lambos are sort of top of the list. So we have a few Lambos actually in this wave. So to get a Lamborghini that transformed into a robot was absolutely perfect for kids of the 80s. So finally, to close out wave one, we have the mini Autobots. Now these really were the perfect pocket money toy back in the 80s. Now we have Bumblebee and Gears, which were brand new Walmart reissues, followed by Huffer, Cliffjumper, Brawn, and Windcharger. These are all original, genuine G1 items, and whilst they're not exactly minty, they're the best I could find for a decent price, and you know what? I'm very happy to have them. So that rounds out my entire Wave 1 collection. Stay tuned as we look at more waves and more great Transformers. Now we've got Transformers from just random waves. Now, Sea Spray, which was my first ever Transformer, this is a genuine G1 original. Then we have Beachcomber, Powerglide, Cosmos, all original, and Warpath, which was one of the Walmart reissues. We have Twin Twist and Top Spin, which were also Transformers I had as a child, and also Transformers that were somewhat disappointing. Now, I always thought Transformer was part action toy, part puzzle. So the fact there was no real puzzle solving required for these jump starters was a bit of a nuisance. Plus, they very rarely actually worked. However, I'm glad to have them again because they do bring back childhood memories, and these of course are genuine G1s. And finally, on this row, we have Sideswipe, which is from the commemorative series, and again, always great to get a Lamborghini. So now we have a couple of big boys. Now Blaster was of course a Walmart exclusive reissue, which I'm very happy to have. Now you will see, much like Soundwave, I do have a tape inside the tape deck, and that is an original eject. Very floppy, however. The fact that it's going to stay in cassette form inside the tape deck doesn't matter me, but it is an original. Now next to him, another one from Damien. Thank you, Damien. This is Ultra Magnus. I absolutely love this. It's such a solid, massive, imposing toy. One that obviously, by the time this was released back in the 80s, I was probably too old for toys, so wasn't aware of it back in the day. But since rediscovering Transformers and the fact that it is a recast of Optimus Prime and everything, really do love this Transformer. And as you can see, absolutely enormous compared with the other Transformers. Now in front of the two giants we have the last of my mini-bots. Now first up we have Hubcap, which is a genuine G1 original, and this came courtesy of Mr. Guboto, who gave me a fantastic deal and was able to let me add it to my collection. So thank you so much, Mr. Guboto. Next up is Feely. That's a Chinese knockoff. It does have a strange feel to the plastic. Definitely can tell it's a bit of a knockoff. Does it bother me? Not in the slightest. Now, we have Swerve, Outback, Tailgate and Pipes, plus an untransformed Bumblebee. And once again, thank you to Damien for sending me this box set, which was a Takara Encore set. Absolutely over the moon to get these because, as I've said previously, these mini bots were the perfect pocket money toy back in the day. And just the whole aspect of going into a store to buy a little toy with your pocket money brings back a lot of great memories for me. So that concludes the Autobots. Let's take a look at the Decepticons. So another massive Decepticon, this time at its 6-shot. And again, thank you goes out to Damien for sending me this. Now, this was also brand new when I got it. And I do have to confess, I had to open the instructions to learn how to transform this. I simply could not do it from looking at the images on the box. So that was kind of the challenge back in the day, that the instructions came in a bag with a sticker over it that you could tell if it had been opened or not. And I had to open the instructions, I'm afraid. I'm not that good at transforming Transformers, but this is an absolute massive Transformer and just looks so imposing there. Next up we have Shockwave. This one, I do admit, is a Chinese knockoff, and it really is as good as it gets because, again, I was looking for an original in really good condition, could not find one. However, the Chinese knockoff came up on eBay. I thought, for that price, I'll take one of these. The electronics do work, the sound works, the light works, all good. Much like Megatron, not the best looking toy, but it's good to have one in the collection. And I am glad that these knockoffs exist because they allow me to really fill out my collection without breaking the bank. Next up, my first combiner, and that is the Devastator. Again, courtesy of Damien. Thank you so much, Damien. I haven't actually applied the stickers to this yet. I just didn't get round to it prior to this video. But this was, again, something I found quite challenging because for whatever reason, I am somewhat unskilled at transforming a Transformer for the first time, and I had a hell of a time getting this one together. However, now that it's up, set up, I love the way it looks, and very much a welcome addition to my collection. So here we have Blitzwing, a triple changer. This one is Chinese knockoff, no problem with that, although I will say the build quality on this knockoff is not quite as good as the other knockoffs, and some of the parts just do not stay in place. Like this weapon, the hand is all a bit floppy, a bit loose. The turret on the back doesn't stay in place. However, on display, not necessarily that big of a deal as far as I'm concerned. This Rat Bat is a Chinese knockoff, and I'm struggling to remember how I came to own this. I think it may have been the case that it came in a 2-pack of cassette Transformers. It may well have been the other Frenzy that I got to put inside of Soundwave. Don't quote me on that, but definitely a Chinese knockoff. Looks perfectly good in my opinion. And last of all, we have Dirge, which is from the commemorative series. Again, exactly the same as the previous Seeker jets, except this time you keep the cone up, and the whole cone head thing I think looks ridiculous, and given the choice I would put it back, but I guess that was part of their whole thing with the Wave 2s. So there you go, those are my other Transformers and Decepticons out with my complete Wave 1. Well, I hope you enjoyed that tour of my G1 Transformers collection. Now, obviously, it's not as big as some collections, but for me, having Wave 1 complete is the most important thing, and anything else is an absolute bonus. Now, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications activated, because very soon I will have the video looking at the new Lego Optimus Prime, and I'll give you my opinions on that piece. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, make sure you're subscribed. Please like this video, please share this video, and please do leave a comment telling me what is your favourite G1 Transformer. So in the meantime, thank you again, and we'll see you next time.